And welcome to another edition of Digging History and Honoring the Sacrifice with James and Bravo. And you know, as we're going into the holiday season, let me be one of the first to say I wish you all a happy holiday season. I hope that everyone gets a chance to get together with your family and friends and just enjoy the atmosphere. It's been a long couple of years since we've had the COVID issues that have kicked up. And it's made it difficult even for us to be able to come in and video and to do different things. Fortunately, we are outside a lot, so we have an opportunity to get out and do things that normally you can't do in an indoor setting. Of course, we've added Bravo. He's laying here on the couch, as you can see, and he's wearing his new setup, which this is a new rig system that we've got for him. Obviously, everyone can see the little pouches on there. He carries his own equipment, carries first aid kit, carries water, and he helps me to carry batteries and other things as well. So Bravo is grown quite a lot since our last show, and like most German Shepherd pups, he finds himself in a little bit of trouble every now and then. But he's all in all, he's a pretty good boy, and he's become really a great partner to have out in the field. And I'm going to tell you why. Digging with a service dog takes a little extra training. So in addition to the training, to teaching him how to sit, lay down, come, stop, all of these different commands, plus training him to identify dangers and issues related to whatever it is that I'm facing. He's also got the added piece of actually working, carrying some, light equipment, posing for camera shots, working around caves and ravines, and dealing with wildlife as well. As you know, West Virginia and all of Appalachia has a tremendous amount of wildlife and things that are out there. I want you to look at my hat that I have on right here. It's the Nocta Simplex, the Nocta Macro Simplex hat. We are using a new detector out in the field. It's called a Nocta Macro Simplex. And then if you go to Nocta Macro, that's Noktamakro, and you do a review of the Nocta Macro, you'll find the different detectors. Right now I'm using the Simplex Plus. We have a brand new system called the Legend that is on order. And the great thing about the Nocta Macro is it's lightweight. It has, Bluetooth headphones. Really a great machine. The Simplex cost around $290. But I can tell you that in comparison to any other detectors that I've used, the Simplex Plus made by Nocta Macro has been amazing. And you'll see that in some of our finds that we have out there. It's a great artifact hunting machine. It gets deep. It doesn't give you a lot of false signals, but it's only a single channel detector. So whereas the Legend is going to be a multi-channel detector, kind of like you see some of the higher ends detectors that you see out there that a lot of people use. For me, this Legend, I'm real excited about getting it and putting it into the field and putting it to use because all of the reviews that I've seen on it, and then of course some of the videos that I've watched about it, and then being in contact with the company that manufactures it, I can tell you that I'm real excited. I think that this winter we're going to find some amazing finds with the new Nocta Macro Legend. It's just a neat machine. It has a telescoping stock, which means, I click a button and it gets down and I can shrink it down to about this big, okay? And then I can store it anywhere. I can put it in the front seat of my car. One charge on the battery generally lasts me 3 trips in the field. Same thing with the headphones. And then the lightness and the versatility of it has been really nice. Now, I also use the Fischer F75. It's significantly heavier of a machine, a little more of a learning curve to be able to learn that, but it is the significant extra added weight, and is what is really a factor, especially when we're going up and down the hills and we're doing a lot of moving along trails and different things. I've got a 15-inch search coil, which is about this big. It's a huge search coil. Just got this brand new search coil that goes on my Fischer F75. And I've used it with some great success, especially at identifying deep artillery shells. So it gives you a bigger area to cover, so it's going to pick up a little bit more junk. But when you're out in an area where there's not a lot of trash, not a lot of debris, it's really reaching down and grabbing those deep iron signals. Most artillery shells that I find, cannonballs, things from the Civil War, are going to be about a foot down. Some of your machines are not going to register, or it's going to pick up just a slight blip. With this 15-inch coil, that we're using with the Fischer, it's really picking it up. The same thing with the Nocta Micro. It has an 11-inch coil, a little bit smaller, but it's picking up those deep iron targets. So it's really exciting to do that. And what's really cool is having Bravo, the service dog, out with us. Bravo, while he's sitting there relaxing on the couch right now and enjoying the show, he's actually taking a nap right now. And that's something I hope that we've got the kids looking at him. He's a really good dog. But when he's out in the field, he's very active. He's moving around. He's constantly making me aware of my surroundings. And it's going to be especially important for this show because we're doing a lot of caves and ravines. In some of the footage, you're going to see areas that we've been into that I don't think anybody's been there in a very long time. As a matter of fact, by the number of artifacts and the lack of trash, I can tell you that is true. Probably at least not since the 1940s or early 1950s at the latest. Because generally, if you come up on a cave or a ravine where there's been a lot of people in there, you're going to find a lot of trash. You're going to find a lot of junk. Some of these places we visited, we didn't find that. We found some deep iron. We found some square-headed nails. We found a few coins too, so it's been pretty neat to find that. Horseshoes are always a favorite to find, and we drag all of that out, the trash, anything that we find, out of the woods with us. And having Bravo out there, I can tell you, I've got some footage of him actually digging. So I'll get down so far, and when I step back, Bravo will get in with his paws, and he likes to dig down in the dirt. And literally, he will reach his snout down there, and he will pull out, especially some of the bigger objects like a horseshoe or, big spikes and things like that. And he takes it out of the hole and he sets it down. He's a really a good dog, and he's getting to be trained to where he doesn't go away from me. I do not have to have him on a leash. So it's been really, really wonderful to have Bravo. So, again, let me reemphasize, wish each and every one of you a happy, happy holidays. And as you're watching the show today and you're watching Bravo and I navigate some of this rough terrain, remember that safety is paramount. If you're going to go out into the woods, please make sure that you make a plan, you let somebody know, and you know exactly where you're at, and have some form of communications, a first aid kit, water, some way that if something happens and you fall down out there and you can't move, you'll be able to make it through these cold West Virginia nights, because it's getting down into the 20s and it's getting down into the teens now. And it won't be long, we're going to have snow on the ground. So always be prepared for that. And if you can, send a signal from your phone. I like to go into Google Maps or MapQuest, and I send a signal from my phone that shows exactly where I'm at. And that person, which in my case, it's my wife, she can, or Corbett or whoever else that I'm sending the signal to, I send it to where they can track me for up to an hour. So they'll know where I'm at. So if something happens and I don't come out of the woods, they know where to come find you. So without any further ado, folks, enjoy the show. And remember, you can't find anything sitting on the couch, folks. So enjoy the show, and we'll be right back. I have found some really amazing finds in ravines, draws, caves, and valleys. Not so much inside the caves, but in and around the caves. And some of these things include, you know, beautiful coins like this 1833 large bust. You know, check that coin out. Isn't that beautiful? Now, it's got a hole in it. It's a 50-cent piece. It's got a hole in it, and that was not uncommon back in the day for people to put a hole in it and sew it inside of their clothing. Then I found this. I mean, this is a gorgeous 1840 seated Liberty 50-cent piece. You know, look at that thing, almost like brand new money. And I found that in the vicinity of a valley, a draw, or a ravine. Now, I could go over all the other things I found, like Civil War bullets, in which you can see this is one of the many jars of Civil War bullets that I have. And I also have some grape shot and different things that are in there. I donate a lot of this to museums. I know where all of these bullets were found. I put them in specific locations so that I can identify, you know, where those bullets were found, and that makes it a lot easier. But let me give you an idea of what's the difference between a ravine, a draw, a cave, and a valley. Here it is. A ravine, here on the left, is an area that is between two extremely steep hills. Now, a ravine is something like you would imagine when you're looking down at the Snake River, you know what I mean, from the Grand Canyon. You know, you're not getting up and down the sides of those hills. And usually down at the bottom here, there's a body of water, whether it could be an intermittent stream or whether it's a creek or a river. I have a tendency to find a lot of stuff at the bottom of those ravines and in and around the areas where people camped at all times. So a ravine is very, very hard to navigate. You have to find a way to get down here. You know, obviously, you got to be careful. You don't want to fall off. But those are areas that you need to look for. And you can find them on a topographical map, because the closer the contour lines are together, the steeper the hill is. And so when you're looking for a ravine in particular, that's what you want to look for. In particular, during the Civil War, they threw a lot of stuff down into ravines whenever they got rid of it. Cannons, rifles, bullets, bayonets, uniforms, equipment. They'd toss it in the river. You know, there are some artifact hunters that do really well hunting in the bodies of water. But me, I like to stick along the edges of the waterway and in the areas on and around, because generally I find some cool stuff there. Now let's talk about a draw. What's a draw? A draw is an area that's a gradual slope that goes up into a hillside. So if you see two hills that come together like this, and you know, up there you'll see, you know, you can walk along the sides of a draw, you can go up and down and in around this area. These made really good places to camp, to hide, to get water sources, and to also to be able to hunt game. So a lot of people would travel around these draws, you know what I mean? And they'd slip or they'd fall and they'd drop something. I generally find a lot of stuff along the sides of these draws. So when I'm looking, but again, you got to be very careful in this rough terrain, especially in Appalachia or any of the mountainous areas. You know, a draw is a pretty safe spot. Now, caves, you know what a cave is. I would not advise anybody to go into a cave. I can tell you, I don't go into, you know, deep caves and caverns. I just don't, you know what I mean? What I do is I look for places underneath the areas, generally in a valley. So you can look up and you can see, you know, where there's rock formations and there's natural shelter up there. Most likely you go up into those areas, if you can safely navigate it, you can generally find something. So caves, you know, that's a whole different ball game. Don't go exploring caves. That's my advice to you. But if it's just an area that just kind of has an overhang, you know, those were natural, and some of those were places where they had horses at, or they just needed to get out of the rain. And a lot of times they sat down there and they'd drop things like 50-cent pieces like this one right here. And I can tell you, or they could drop a whole bag of coins. These are all, you know, Indian head pennies, large cents, things that I have found over the years, dimes, half dimes, you know, 50-cent pieces, quarters, even Spanish reals. And I have found several of these as well. As you can see, you know, they get kind of wore out. This is 1782. It's a beautiful coin when you can take a look at it and you can get close to it. But this was common currency back in the day. Let's go to the last thing of valleys. What's a valley? A valley is an area that you would picture between two mountains, you know, where the stream coming down it. And the slope is a little more gentle than a ravine, where a ravine goes straight up and down, where a valley kind of is like this. Okay, so if you're looking at maps, you can look for these terrain features like this, these contour lines on a topographical map. And remember, the closer the lines are together, the steeper that hill is. We do a lot of checking before we go into an area. And when we look at areas like ravines, draws, and caves, valleys, you know, those are generally pretty what we call a honey hole sites that we find a lot of really cool stuff. But it's also very dangerous. And you've got to be careful, and you've got to bring a friend, and you also need to be prepared if something happens to you. You know, I carry a lot of rope. I carry, you know, blankets and first aid kits and water and all kinds of stuff. So in case something happens, I slip and fall, and I got to spend the night in a ravine or a valley, then I can do that, you know, relatively safely. So I wanted to bring this out and show you this, because this show is about ravines, draws, caves, and valleys, which are very common to rural Appalachia and in more mountainous regions. But these are generally good spots that you can find some fairly cool artifacts. You just got to do it safely. But remember, folks, you can't find anything sitting on the couch. If you want to get out and find really cool things like this, then you need to get up off the couch and go do it. Now, if you need some motivation or you'd like to talk to me, you can reach out to me at James McCormick at WV Purple Heart 1863. That's WV, as in West Virginia, Purple Heart 1863 at gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And keep watching us on Digging History, where we're not only going to show you the cool things that we find, we're not only going to bring Bravo, the service dog, involved into this, but we're also going to teach you a little bit about geography and about the difference between ravines, draws, valleys, and caves. Remember, folks, be safe, God bless, and have a great day. All right, folks, we're going to be shooting a little bit of digging history in ravines today. Ravines and caverns and caves. And this is pretty rough terrain here, and obviously Bravo has already found the first find today, which is a horseshoe. And Bravo, come on, show everybody what you got. Show everybody what you got. What is that? What is that? Now you're gonna hurt your teeth. Out. So a lot of times, you know, he thinks that this is a plaything, and I don't want to hurt his teeth, but it's a horseshoe. And, you know, he'll come out, and he took it out of the hole here. And he likes the horseshoe, right? Oh, he wants the horseshoe really bad. But I'm going to put this up because I don't want him to get hurt his teeth on it. It's about a, I don't know, about a 100-year-old horseshoe. I don't think it's Civil War era. It's at least 100 years old. So if I found one here, we're searching these ravines and these areas along these ravines, because I have a theory that people traveled these areas. And also went over there to get water and different things like that. And Bravo, you see the dirt on his nose. He's been digging. He wants to hold on to it very gently. But I'll get that from him here in just a minute. But anyways, so that's what we're doing out here today. That was our first find. And I'll put that up in my backpack and we'll get to moving. Okay, folks. This is a cave here. And, you know, this is pretty common. Be a place that probably Native Americans and frontiersmen was probably a lot bigger back in the day. But they would probably pull up in here and take shelter in a storm. So we haven't found anything up here, but you know, we did find a really good piece of scenery here. And sometimes, you know, that's the cool thing. It's not always about finding a treasure. You know, sometimes it's about finding, you know, your peace and the happiness that you can only find down here in the wilderness. And Bravo and I are finding it right now, so it's a lot of fun, and we're going to keep digging. We only got about an hour left. So it's taking us about 20 minutes to get up here, so we got about 10 more minutes of travel, and then we got to turn around and start heading back, because I want to be out of the woods before it gets dark, not leaving after it's dark. So that's what we'll do. So keep watching on Digging History. Oh, Bravo. Check him out. I think he's the star of the show now. Look at him. He's such a good hunter. Ain't that right, buddy? Show everybody how handsome you are. Okay, folks. Out here today, we just found a Civil War bullet, and then we found several blanks. But this is a complete clip from an M1 Garand rifle. So this was a training site here during World War II. Now it's in really bad shape. It'll probably fall apart on me. So, but still, a cool find. You know, that's all about history. And there you go. Some soldier was down here, some Marine was out here training a long time ago, and I'm literally finding Civil War bullets right underneath this. So it's just the most amazing place. It really is. Talk about military history, it's all over here. So we'll keep watching, keep digging until we find some cool stuff, right, Bravo? All right, take care, folks. Can't find it sitting on the couch. Get out and get to digging. That's a cool little find. Out here digging today with Bravo. Found my first fired 3-ring bullet. And I found it like in a place I never thought I'd find it. So I'm glad I came over here and looked. It's not the greatest shape, but it's definitely a bullet. Definitely Civil War. So pretty cool. Got a bunch of other good signals too in this area right here, all around this old tree here. So I'm gonna be looking around. Let me show you what I found here. Okay, I found 21 M1 Garand training blank cartridges, all from the World War II era. There's a training area here close, so obviously I did find a piece of buck and ball. Did find a very small, old pistol round. And I did find a Indian head penny from the 1860s. Can't really tell the date yet, but I know because it's so thick, you know, and so I got to clean it up. I found this and I thought it was a Jew's harp, but it's not. It looks like some sort of a, you know, it could have been an old bottle opener or something. I don't know. I found this right out there, the buttons. And then I found this 1988 license plate. Now I am going to call about this because this could be a cold case. Who knows? I'm not even sure if this is from West Virginia, but I'm just assuming that it is. But there it is, 88. So it was all bent up and thrown in the woods. So it could have been just junked or it could have been whatever. But anyways, it's getting dark. It's almost 5 o'clock. So Bravo and I are getting out of here. But there's our haul today. We found some pretty cool stuff. boy, I bet that was really cool to watch all that stuff. Bravo and I out there navigating these trails, going through the woods, getting the briars all in our face, me picking out the briars out of Bravo's fur here. And if you all ever notice, we always know when Bravo's been digging because he always comes home with a little dirt on his nose. And if you look and see real close here, you can see that before we came in here, we was out digging, right, old buddy? Look at the paws on that guy. He is amazing. So, remember folks, observe all safety precautions when you're out in the woods. Make sure you're getting permission before you go on somebody's property to dig. And you gotta have fun. If you're not having fun out digging and doing a hobby, then why do it? You know, enjoy what you're doing. Love life. Life is so precious. And as we're here together on this holiday season, be sure that you remember that. You let those people that you know and that you love and that you care about, let them know that you care about them, you know, because you never know. We all have an expiration date, and we all have an entry date. You know, it's how we spend that time in between that determines the kind of life that we have. So enjoy life, have a great time, and we hope that you enjoyed the show with Digging History and Honoring the Sacrifice with myself and good old Bravo here. He wishes everybody a happy holiday season, and as always, reach out to us either on Facebook, or you can reach out to us, email us at wvpurpleheart1863@gmail.com, and let us know how we're doing. If you need advice on a metal detector, or you want to know what metal detectors that I use, go ahead and reach out. I'll let you know. I don't have any problem answering any of those questions and being very honest with you about what works and what doesn't work and what's really worth the money. There's no sense in you going out and spending tons of money. And I know that this holiday season, a lot of people are going to be shelling out money. And maybe you want to get a metal detector, you know, for one of these gifts, you know, during one of these holiday seasons. You know, if you do, make sure that you choose it wisely. Something that's not too difficult, something that fits your needs, and something that's going to help you have that fun that is exactly what metal detecting should be all about. So next time, be sure that you follow us, and be sure that, that you guys reach out to us anytime that you have any questions, and say, have a great and glorious day. And remember, a day out digging beats a day on the couch, unless you're Bravo over here, because he likes to spend a lot of time on the couch. Ain't that right, old buddy? All right, folks, thanks a lot. Happy holidays, and catch us next time on Digging History.